Hi folks, this is just a quick update to let you know what's going on. I was going to do a walk and talk today, but it was a truly horrible day. Cold and windy with occasional rain, so I figured I'll just sit here and give you a little bit of a spiel from inside my shed. But as many of you probably know, I have been deactivated on Facebook. Both my Facebook accounts have been deactivated. Thank you to all the people who contacted me and said, put their hands up to be a moderator on my Facebook page or on one of my groups. But unfortunately, I can't log on to Facebook in order to make anyone a moderator anymore. If the guy who originally opened that page is still out there, perhaps he could step up and make someone a moderator. I'm not sure who actually opened it. I didn't open that page. Someone opened it and made me a moderator, made me an admin on the page, and it kind of took off after then. But that's the way it goes. As everybody knows, the lockdown is just continuing. They've eased restrictions here a little bit in Queensland. They're talking about easing restrictions everywhere a little bit, but they haven't opened the borders yet, and they're still pushing this whole social distancing rubbish. And they're talking about the danger of releasing the lockdown or, doing it too early because of the second wave. There's all these predictions of the second wave, folks. And of course, the second wave is going to come. As many people have noticed, they've been rolling out all the 5G infrastructure and putting the Icke routers in the schools while everybody's been locked down. So, you're going to see people start to get sick from the Icke, start to get sick from the 5G, and just start to get sick from the lack of food that they're going to be experiencing, because we are most certainly heading for a reasonably bad food shortage, folks. Probably the worst food shortage we've seen in a long time. And this has all been done deliberately. As I've been pointing out on my previous reports, it's all been done deliberately. A lot of people have been breaking the lockdown in the United States, in as much as many farmers have actually been selling directly to the public, and dairy farmers and all sorts of farmers, and the farmers have been supporting them in this. It's been really good to see, and that's what people need to do to get the supply chains back up and running. There's been a lot of protests. We've seen a lot of protests in the United States, people out in all sorts of places protesting the lockdown, and it's good to see that people are protesting the lockdown, but getting out there and kind of shouting and waving banners in the streets and asking your slave masters to please be nicer slave masters isn't really going to help things, folks. What you need to do is to get the supply chains back up and running. All of the trucks moving the food from the farms, this all needs to start flowing again. America is armed. If there were people, militia or whatever, who went with the transports, who were armed and were there to protect the transports from any type of state police trying to stop the flow of food, that would be very beneficial. That would be more beneficial than doing protests. Waving banners around, it doesn't really get anywhere. So, people have to understand that it's the lockdown that is destroying the world supply chain. It isn't COVID-19, it's the lockdown. The lockdown has happened because of COVID-19, but how can they justify it? When you look at the numbers just aren't there. And this whole lockdown has been, riding on the back of the incredible failure of Neil Ferguson from Imperial College to give the right figures to the world. Just computer models, computer projection of what may happen. But of course, that depends on the information you put into the computer. And, we've seen the entire world locked down on the back of what this man has said. There was a really, really good interview, the third one that he's done, David Icke with London Real the other night as well. It was a fantastic interview, and I cannot recommend it enough, the same as the other one of David Icke's that I was recommending. It's really, really a good interview, folks, and everybody needs to see it. It's 3 hours long. I was watching it on YouTube, and there were something like 87,000 people, between 86,700 and 87,700, somewhere around there. I can't remember the exact number, but around 87,000 people were watching when YouTube cut the stream, and then we were able to watch it on the London Real site, and it was a very, very revealing interview, and one that people need to share. Something that he pointed out in that interview is the fact that This entire lockdown has been decreed by the World Health Organization, and it all runs on the back of the figures that were put forth by Imperial College and Neil Ferguson. The lockdown in the United States has been run on the back of the recommendations of Dr. Fauci, and the purging of information of anybody who's speaking out against this from Facebook and YouTube. The deletion of David Icke's Facebook page and my Facebook page, and of David Icke's YouTube channel, and I suspect my YouTube channel is not far away from being deleted as well. All this is being done, and when you look at it, folks, the main funder of the World Health Organization, who's decreed that the lockdown should be in place, is Bill Gates. The main funder of Imperial College and Neil Ferguson is Bill Gates. The main funder of Dr. Fauci, who's made the recommendations in the United States, is Bill Gates. When you look at Facebook and YouTube, Google owns YouTube. You look at all this, it's Silicon Valley. This is Bill Gates. And when you look at the BBC, one of the main funders of the BBC, or a substantial funder to the BBC, is Bill Gates. Also to The Guardian in the UK as well, that's Bill Gates. Bill Gates has got his finger in all of these pies, folks. And, we shouldn't even really be calling this, coronavirus or COVID-19. It should really be the Gates virus. Trump has been calling it the Wuhan virus. It's more the Gates virus. But the thing is that there is no virus, folks. The numbers don't add up. Even according to official figures, even according to the official narrative, the numbers don't add up. There was a nurse that did a very, very emotional video the other day that is posted on a Plain Truth for Use channel. A very, very emotional video. I'll put a link to it below. And she talks about the fact that she cannot even advocate for patients. They're not letting her. They're literally killing people in the hospitals, folks. It's like was reported by the other nurse whose talk came out a couple of weeks ago, who I included on one of my videos that I think was deleted by YouTube. It's hard to keep track of them because so many of them are deleted by YouTube. But that's what's happening in the hospitals, folks. And, the amount of people that are suffering through this as well, the amount of people that are missing out on normal operations, they would be getting brain surgery, heart surgery, all sorts of things. People are missing out on their operations and they're dying because the hospitals are closed down because they're only accepting COVID patients. And all the COVID patients that go in there die. And, anybody who goes in there basically is treated as a COVID patient, and they kill these patients because they're getting $39,000 for every person that they put through the system. It's pretty insidious, folks, but that's what's happening. The worst thing you could do at the moment would be to go to hospital to deal with any problem that you've got, because they're just killing people in there. They're pushing this tracing app here in Australia as well. They're really pushing that people get this. Apparently a lot of people have had messages arrive on their cell phones telling them to download the app. And we're still seeing people, wearing masks, and a lot of people believing that this pandemic is real when it is so obviously a hoax. And again, folks, I cannot recommend that interview that David Icke just did enough. It really is something that needs to be watched by everyone. He breaks it down beautifully. And, we've got to stand up for this, folks. I mean, this whole thing is based on a lie. The numbers aren't there, especially here in Australia. Like 95 people or something have died from COVID, they say. And they're not. They're just people who tested positive for COVID and then died. And they're all old people, folks. See, that's how they managed to get the numbers. That's how they managed to get any numbers at all, by saying, it just affects old people mostly. Because old people die. Old people have lots of sicknesses, and all they have to do is say, it's COVID. And that gets the numbers that they need, because the numbers simply aren't there. In the United States last year, in this same time period between January to May, something like 80,000 people died of the flu. 80,000 people, folks. That is way, way more than what they're even saying with their jacked up numbers from COVID. They're doing everything they can to get the numbers up, because the numbers aren't there. There are no numbers there to justify the type of lockdown that we've seen. And this lockdown, it's about crashing the world economy. It's about ushering in this police state. That's why it's not going to go away. Even if they relax it a little bit here now, they're going to blame us for wanting to relax it too early, and they're going to bring it in even further in the future, folks. They're not going to let this go now they've got it in place. That's not the plan. It wasn't just to crash the world economy, it's to lock people down and to completely disrupt the food supply and the world supply chains. Travel's never going to go back to normal. So many aircraft have gone broke. And they're talking about restructuring aircraft and even restructuring offices to bring in social distancing in offices. They want to keep the social distancing. They want everybody to be scared of everybody else. When you're in an office, when you're in a place, they want you separated from people. This brings about this whole androgynous society, keep people away from each other. We don't want people getting married and breeding. We want you to have your robot companions, and you can get your sperm from the sperm bank, and you can get your eggs from the egg farm, and you can put them in the exogenesis chamber, and we can create a child for you in a sanitary manner. This is what they want, folks. I mean, they don't want people as people anymore. They want to merge you with machine. And the real thing is, the vaccine. That's what all this is about, is the vaccine. That's why they're so intent on having everybody vaccinated. Everybody in the world must be vaccinated. So it's really all about the vaccine. The virus, so-called pandemic, is just an excuse to get everybody vaccinated. And of course the vaccine already exists. And how could they even be working on a COVID-19 vaccine anyway? I mean, by their own admission, they never isolated the virus. You have to isolate a virus, and then you have to infect someone else with that virus, and you have to see them get sick before you know that it is that virus causing that illness. They've never done that. So how can they be creating a vaccine for a virus they've never isolated? Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? One great thing that I saw from someone posted, I'll see if I can find it and read it to you. Someone posted, I can't do it. Someone posted a picture to me, and they said, when I go into this ward, they look for antibodies. They're testing me for COVID. They look for antibodies. If they find these antibodies, they tell me I'm infected. And yet if I go down the ward to the next ward where they're looking at immunology and they find these antibodies, they tell me I'm immune. So what's happening? It's the same antibodies. So why is it different depending on which room I get tested in? It's a scam, folks. This whole thing is such a scam, and it's really important that people realize what's happening. And like I said, it's good to be protesting, but we need to turn this protest into action. And we can by supporting the farmers, by getting the food chains back up and running, rather than gathering all your people together and going and protesting in the town square. Find a farmer, find a trucker, and find someone that should be taking food to market, and then find a market that needs the food, and talk to these people and say, hey, listen, we want to get the food here to the market so we can buy it. So how do we do that? Where's your truck? Where's the farmer? Let's contact the farmer and let's get a bunch of us together, and this will be our protest. Rather than standing around in the town square with a bunch of placards, you get 500 or 600 people doing this, or 1,000 people, we'll get 1,000 people and we'll create a convoy and we'll go and pick up this food and we'll bring it to market ourselves. We'll bring the militia with us in case there's any trouble from the authorities, and we're just going to do it because there's strength in numbers and it's what needs to be done. And that's what needs to happen, folks. That's the sort of action that needs to happen. But anyway, that's about all I wanted to say to you today, folks. Just a short report. I'll bring you another walk and talk very soon. For those of you who I cannot contact any other way than Facebook, and there is quite a lot of people, the way you can find me now is on MeWe or on Minds. If you go to my website, thecrowhouse.com, you'll notice a whole bunch of new links up there, just near the top of the page, on the home page, that link to Minds, to Library, to MeWe, to Twitter. My Twitter stuff's there, LinkedIn. There's a few other places you can find me, and I've also put a mailing list up there. You can sign up to a mailing list. A friend of mine, Vanessa, has actually done that for me, which is a great thing. I've still got to figure out how to use it. But if you sign up to the mailing list, then I can keep in contact with you that way as well. Also, I was wondering if anybody would like to open a forum that I could link to. I used to have forums on the website, but it didn't. It used to be an old PHP forum or something like that. but all the coding changed, and they gradually phased things out, and I've tried to repair it a few times but never been able to. It got attacked by bots so much I lost a couple of moderators on it, and it just got completely wiped out by bots. So that was pretty hard. But if anyone would like to open a forum where we can meet and I can post stuff, it'd be like our own personal Facebook. I mean, that's what we had before Facebook anyway. We used to all meet in forums. And all Facebook is basically a forum, only everyone is moderated by the government and everyone's censored in what they can say. So, a forum would be great as well if anyone feels like doing that, and I'll link to it from the Crow House. But until then, like I said, you can find me on MeWe, you can find me on Minds, you can find me on Library, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Steemit. There's a few places, on Gab as well, you'll find me. So yeah, we will be able to stay in contact. Also on BitChute, my videos are being uploaded there as well. So if I do go down on YouTube, you'll still be able to find me on BitChute. And I'll keep going. I mean, they won't be able to stop me. I'll keep going until the wheels fall off. But yeah, we're heading into some pretty interesting times, folks. So do pay attention and do stay safe through all this. But I'll bring you another show as soon as I'm able. I just wanted to get this out there and let you know that I have been banned from Facebook. They have deactivated both of my pages, and I'm not able to make anybody a moderator. Also, there was someone who sent me an email requesting a little bit of the dialogue of Governor Cuomo from New York. They wanted me to just send them that little bit of dialogue without the guitar behind it. And I tried to reply to your email, but it said that email address was invalid. So if you could send me another email and make sure you get your email right in it, I'll send you that little bit of footage and you can post it wherever you want to post it. But that's it for me today, folks. That's all I wanted to share with you. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll look forward to speaking to you again soon in another walk and talk as soon as the weather gets a little bit better. And please take very good care until then. Thank you for all the emails. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. And I'll speak to you again soon. Please take very good care until then. In Lakesh.